Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good Tuesday. Yesterday, I hit on ambassadorship because that's the whole important thing right there. We have to learn and understand what an ambassador is so that we can see what our role is because you're an ambassador. So if you don't know what an ambassador is, you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to live it. You don't know what you're supposed to have. You don't know what position or authority or power you're supposed to walk into. So you have to get understanding of what an ambassador is. So yesterday I hit on some of the details of what an ambassador's job is, right? I gave 12 details. If you didn't see that video, go watch it. It will help you understand more what I'm talking about today. But they're all kind of separate, all these teachings. I want to just be able to give out information on different areas so that you can wrap your mind around what being an ambassador actually is. So here are some qualities, some qualifications to be an ambassador, right? And Paul was one of them. He's a definition of what an ambassador was for Christ. That is what he was. That is what he did. So by looking at his life, you can see some of these qualifications that I'm about to hit on. Paul had them and he represented them. And this is what we are supposed to be like as ambassadors. So the very first one is patience. Patience is hard for all of us. It's one of the hardest things for me. I am not always the most patient person. I like to go from point A to point Z like that. Teach me something, cool, let me do it, and let me master it and go on to the next thing. I've done it in my own life a bunch of times. And what can happen is that you can run out and you can get so far ahead and you're not prepared for it, you're not ready for it, and then it just falls apart around you. And then what happens? You put your head down, you kind of come back, you lose hope, you get down on yourself. People around you love to point out when you ran ahead too far without being ready for it. And they like to point that and say, hey, see, told you this wasn't for you, told you weren't supposed to do it. Hey, patience is key. It's very important because things take time. They take time to build up. Some might be quicker, some might be shorter, who knows? But they take time. Paul wanted to go out to all these different places. And if you read in the New Testament, right, he's trying to go into different towns. And the Spirit would tell him, no, don't go there. Go here. Don't go there. Go here. You're not ready for that yet. They're not ready for you yet. Even though he wanted to do it, even though his will was to go do it, his patience kicked in because he listened to what the Spirit said. And he didn't get upset. He knew, hey, everything in timing. Like I said the other day, seasons. Everything comes in seasons. Some seasons it might be Asia, some seasons it might be Italy, some seasons it might be whatever. And it could be different. And Paul understood this, right? So he had patience. The next one he had was wisdom. People do not understand how important wisdom is. And so many people today on Facebook, everybody thinks they're the wisest people ever. And they're not. They don't even have any wisdom. They have a lot of knowledge, but no wisdom, right? That's important. It's very important. Wisdom is key, right? Solomon asked for wisdom. So if he asked for it and look at his life and look at how successful he was and look at the kingdom that he built, why are we not searching for wisdom? You have to go and search for it and look for it, and it will be there waiting for you. And God will give you the wisdom. James, a brother of Jesus, said, if you lack wisdom, ask for it, and it will be given to you in abundance. In abundance, that means you're going to have as much as you can handle. God will give you the wisdom if you ask for it. But you need to be wise so that you can make the right decisions. The whole reason I'm doing these teachings, it's not for me, right? I've been learning this material, but it's to help other people get wisdom. That's what our job is supposed to be. That's one of the roles as an ambassador, to spread the message of the kingdom to the people of other countries and to give them the wisdom so that they can make the right decisions. That's what our role is. So that's what I try to do. The next one is graciousness of speech. I know a lot of people probably struggle with this. Changing how you speak and the tone of how you speak. 9 out of 10 times when there's an argument or a problem, especially in the men's home, it was usually how it was said, right? The tone of what it was said, and using the wrong words. Sometimes we let our emotions just kick in, and then we'll just say stuff however it comes out of our mind, or just we're so angry we just say stuff and we pop off. I know there's probably a bunch of people that are going to be watching this that sometimes just say stuff just to say it, and it gets you in trouble. And if you're an ambassador of a kingdom, how you speak and what you speak and the words that you use are extremely important, because you're in another country, another kingdom, and you're talking to its people. And if you're not using the right words, you could start a problem. And if you start a problem, it's not just a problem for you, but it's a problem for the kingdom that you represent, that's standing behind you. All those people are going to have to deal with those problems that you started, because you don't know how to use your words properly. So when you become an ambassador of Christ, make sure you properly use your words and use the tone in the right way. You can encourage somebody, and you're trying to encourage them, and your tone just makes them feel like nothing and makes them angry, or makes it feel like you're talking down to them. Your tone can change so much of what the words that you say. It's very important. So be wise in the words that you use, and make sure that your tone is a loving, caring tone. It doesn't always have to be this stern, like, I'm the ruler, I'm the disciplinary, I'm a whatever, I'm the authority, do what I say. Why? You're not trying to manipulate them. And if you're trying to manipulate them, then first of all, you don't know who you are. So that's one of the big reasons you try to manipulate people. 2, you don't know your position. You don't know how much authority you actually have. And 3, you could care less about that person, because you shouldn't be trying to manipulate. You should be trying to educate, trying to help them, trying to teach them, and showing them a better way. That's the reason we tell somebody to do something. It's because we know a better way, and so we're trying to help you do it the better way so that it helps you in the long run. So why do you need to manipulate or talk down or talk authoritative, right? You don't have to do that. Be kind, love, care, right? Show them the right way. And also, especially with talking and telling people what to do, make sure that you're doing it in your own life and not just telling people what to do. Because the quickest way for you to lose any authority is telling people to do something and you don't do it in your everyday life. Nope, that doesn't work. And an ambassador has to be doing what he's saying. He has to be speaking truth. He has to be. It's important, because it's not just him, it's everybody behind him. So make sure you use the right tone, and make sure that you're using the right words, and think before you speak. Really, some people need to actually stop and maybe count to 5 and think before they speak, because you'll just say things right back at somebody, and then it gets you in trouble, and it ruins the whole entire relationship, and it can hurt other people. So think before you speak. The next one is honesty. Just like I was talking about, you have to be honest. If you're trying to manipulate, if you're lying, if you're exaggerating, you're hurting the kingdom that you're representing. You're not hurting yourself, you're hurting the kingdom. And everybody that you're talking to is going to have a bad thought, a bad idea of the kingdom that you say you represent. What is one of the hugest issues today in the church? People look at the church, people look at the church people, and they say, you're liars, you're hypocrites. You speak one thing and you do another. And then a lot of people go out there and they try to hit them with all this authoritative stuff, but you haven't built a relationship. And so what does it do? It makes the kingdom look bad. And you're pushing people away from the kingdom and not inviting them into the kingdom. So be honest. Really be honest. And I know some people probably struggle with that because they just don't know who they are. And so they have to exaggerate in everything that they say. Well, watch my teaching on identity, and that will help. And there's more to coming to that too. The next, readiness of mind. You have to be ready to speak. You have to be ready to do your ambassador job. Whenever something was happening, like the ambassadors that we have in America, right? Whenever something is going on, they can't just say, hey, you know what, give me a week, let me study, let me do these things, let me put a 3-point presentation together, and then I'll come share. No, if there's an issue happening right then and they call you into it, you have to be ready to go and do it and handle it. And that's where wisdom will come into play, because you already know what you need to do. God gives you the wisdom so you already know how to handle the issue, even though you might not be prepared. But you have to be ready to speak. Paul was getting arrested. Paul was getting pulled into synagogues. Paul was just walking through cities and people were asking him, hey, share a word with us. And the dude just popped off and said what he needed to say. First of all, because the Spirit was leading him. So the Spirit was putting him in those positions. Second of all, he had the wisdom from the Spirit. So third of all, it was the Spirit speaking through him. It wasn't even him, because he was representing the kingdom like he was supposed to do. He was being an ambassador of Christ. And so he was ready to go. And sometimes it pissed people off. Sometimes it made them mad. But he was doing what he was supposed to do. And like I had said in the last teaching about what are the duties of an ambassador, is to speak the position of the kingdom and nothing else but the kingdom. And then it's up for those people to be take it up with the kingdom if they have a problem with that. That's what Paul knew. Hey, this is what the kingdom says. It's not my fault. I'm just being the messenger, being the ambassador. So you have to be ready. So many people aren't ready to speak. So many people aren't ready to do what they're supposed to do. They need to get prepared and do all this thing and whatever. Be ready when you need to be ready, because you never know when the Spirit's going to call on you. All right? And then reasonableness. You need to learn how to see both sides of the table. Now, when I said the ambassador speaks the position of the kingdom and only the kingdom, yes. But the ambassador listens to what the kingdom or the country or the place that it's in, he listens to what those people are saying. He doesn't just, oh, no, cut you off. This is what I say, and do this and this alone. He wants to hear where your thought and reasoning is coming from. Listen to people. So many times we just like to just hear ourselves speak, and we think that we know everything, and we think that we can't learn anything, especially from people who are not in the church, or people who are living a crazy life, or young people, or old people, or Democrats, or Republicans, or whatever, women, who knows? We all have a bunch of little excuses that we like to use and, judge people right off the bat because of what they look like, or who they are, or whatever. And we think, we can't listen. We're not going to learn anything from them. You can learn something from everybody. You can always learn information. Hey, it might even be what not to do, but you still learn something. And that was probably more important than what to do. But an ambassador takes the time. They sit down with the other kings or parliament or politicians or whoever to the people and just listen. And they listen to what they're talking about. And they see their reasoning. Because if you don't know what a person's reasoning is for why they believe what they believe, then you'll never be able to share with them something to help them. Because you'll automatically just think, my position's right. You need to learn what they're thinking. And that way, you can show them a better way. Now, you don't change your message, but you change how you deliver that message to people. What the kingdom says is what goes, but you don't deliver it the same way to every single person. And how you learn how to deliver it to them is learning who they are and what's the reasoning behind why they are who they are. That's very important for leaders. That's just important for people in general. Really important. So, behind me says meek. I'm sure you all heard it. Matthew 5:5. It says, blessed are the meek, for they will inherit the earth. So many times we've heard, and I've heard a lot of people say, meek means weakness or humble or quiet. That's not what meek meant in the Greek. Meek in the Greek, what they were talking about was disciplined, right? It was taking all your emotions and all that passion and all that fire, and it was disciplining it. A lot of times it was talking about breaking horses, right? You take a wild horse and they don't want to listen. They want to do what they want to do. They want to run around. They're usually really powerful. They're usually passionate. They got all this fire coming out of them. And that's why you can't tame them, because they don't want to be tamed, right? We don't want to be tamed. We hate being tamed. So what Matthew was talking about, and Jesus was saying this, was, hey, be meek, right? They will inherit the earth. So what it means is take all that fire, all that passion, all that I don't want to be controlled, and learn how to discipline it. And if you discipline it in the right way, then you will be so wise and you will be able to inherit the earth, and you will be able to go out there and move and shake because you're using it in the right way. And how do we get tamed? By letting God come into our life, right? And letting Him show us the way and show us how to use this passion and this fire and everything to go in the right direction. We're representing the kingdom, so we're using the passion and the fire and all the drive that we have and the direction to help the kingdom. And God puts that peace on you and that wisdom. And He knows, and He's showing you how to discipline yourself. Because if you're not disciplined, no, you're not going to get very far. I hate when people come up to me and they ask me, hey, how do I get to look like you? All right, how do I get to your size? I'm like, do it. Go work out. Eat the right way. Discipline yourself. Stop eating McDonald's. Stop eating all this fast food. Don't work out one day, take a couple of days off, work out another day, all over the place. They're not disciplined. You have to be disciplined in every aspect of your life. And when you're disciplined, then you're able to succeed beyond any limit that anybody else can reach. Because you have it in you already, but you have to discipline yourself. So Jesus was saying, discipline yourself, and then you will be able to inherit the earth. So as an ambassador, they are disciplined. They know they have to get up early. They know they got to speak for the kingdom. They know they got to handle issues. They know they got to take care of themselves. They know what they have to do, and they can't just say, no, I don't want to do it. Because it's not them. They're representing the kingdom. So the responsibility is on them to make sure that the kingdom is glorified in everything that they do. Do you glorify the kingdom in everything you do? And how you speak? And how you live? How you take care of your body? What you read? What you watch? What you do? Are you glorifying the kingdom? Or are you glorifying the earth? I would be pretty surprised to hear the answers. And hey, don't condemn yourself. Change. Go do it. Go do it. That's what Jesus said. Go. Simple. 2 letters. Go. So change your mindset and start doing the right thing. And remember, discipline yourself in every area of life, and it will come to you. But you have to be disciplined. So I hope you love this teaching. I hope you learned something. I'm going to be hitting on more on the roles of ambassadors and what's the benefits of being an ambassador in the next teaching. So God bless. Have a great day. See y'all later.